Hello there, my name is Paul Andrews and I am a member of the Digital Solutions team based in the University Centre Shrewsbury. And over the last couple of months we've been running regular live streams aimed at small to medium businesses to showcase free and open source tools that they might find useful during the lockdown and the coronavirus situation. This is the final video in that series, and it's really going to be a very brief or whistle-stop tour, if you like, through all of the other topics that we've covered over the last 9 sessions. So this is video 10. When we started this, lockdown had just been announced, and we didn't really know how best to support businesses that were going to be affected by it. But based on the constant feedback we've had from businesses that we support and some businesses that we've come on to support, we're really pleased with how this has turned out. So before I get going, I'll just kind of walk you through in terms of, if you are new to the Digital Solutions Project and you don't know what we are, I better explain, who we are and what we do. So if you want to learn about us, you can go over to our website. This is our website here. The web address is digitalucs.co.uk. That's digitalucs.co.uk. And if you go there, you'll come to this website here. And this explains basically what we're all about. So we are a project that is fully funded, which means we provide free support to small to medium businesses which are based in Shropshire or Telford and Wrekin. Those businesses must have at least 80% kind of business to business clients. And our job is to support those businesses in rolling out or developing a digitally innovative process, product or service. So if you are a small to medium business and you want help with technology, either kind of rolling maybe a new service out to people, or maybe you want to streamline your internal IT processes, we can help you with that. But more importantly, it won't cost you a penny. So if you do apply and you are successful, you can get a minimum of 12 hours free support from us. No questions asked, it's all good. The other thing to kind of point out is that any support we do give, if it involves any kind of intellectual property, that remains completely yours. That's a question we've been asked a couple of times by clients. All the work we do is free of charge. There are no catches, there are no gotchas. It is, it does what it says in the tin. We're here to support businesses in this region. So if you want to know more about us, you can have a look at our website. You can also apply via our website as well. The easiest thing to do, though, really, is if you are interested in what we do and maybe think about applying, would be if you scroll down here, you can drop us a line at this email address here, this digitalucs@chester.ac.uk, or you can give us a call. We've got 2 telephone numbers here that you can call, and a member of our team will either pick up the phone, or if you leave a message, they will get back to you. So the purpose of this particular video, like I said before, is to just go over all what we've done, what we've covered in all of the other videos. Now, the other videos can all be found on our website underneath the live section, which is just here. So again, if you go to our website, click on live, you get a drop-down menu here from all that shows you all of the different sessions we've covered up to this point. But I'm just going to click on the top option, the live option, and it will take you to the live page here, which you can look at. So this is the page we're looking at here. Let's close that tab down. And what I'm just going to do, I'm going to just click on watch previous streams to jump down to that part of the website, because here it lists everything that we did. So for the remainder of this video, I'm literally just going to talk you through some of the things that we covered, really. But the purpose of this video isn't to give you the same deep dive that the previous videos have done. Like I say, if you spot something that catches your eye, best thing to do is click on one of these links, and then you can watch the actual video that we did on that particular topic. So we'll start at the first one. So we started off first of all, like I say, this was kind of when lockdown had just been announced, and lots of businesses were thinking, well, how are we going to work online? How are we going to communicate with each other? So we started out by looking at a series of free video conferencing tools. Now, you'll have to excuse, because I'm recording at the same time as doing this, it does slow it down a little bit. So if it's a bit slow, I do apologise. But basically what we looked at, we kind of covered, what is video conferencing. Now, I think at this point, we're kind of almost 3 months in, aren't we, almost over 3 months into the lockdown, even though things are easing. I think most businesses now know what video conferencing is, because everyone has, tried it in some way, shape or form. But the platforms we looked at, there are a couple of them. We looked at Zoom, and Skype and Google Hangouts. And we basically went through each of those platforms and explained kind of the pros and cons in each. Really, again, the purpose of these videos wasn't to show people how to use the platforms, it was just to raise awareness. With all of these things, we'd like to give lots of options. We don't endorse any particular piece of software or tool or technology. We just like to signpost things and say, these are things that you might find useful. So the 3 tools we looked at there were Zoom, Skype and Google Hangouts. All of them are great, but the platform that you decide to use will very much depend on the one that you like the best, really. There's no right or wrong. It's about picking one that works best for you. Within the project ourselves, we use a combination of all 3, to be honest. And it all depends on who we're working with and really what they're comfortable with. If we've got a client who is well embedded into the Google ecosystem, then we'll use Google Hangouts with them if that's what they're most comfortable with. If they're Microsoft, then we can go for Skype. And if they're neither, then we say, well, okay, we'll maybe try Zoom, depending on what it is we're trying to achieve. So that was the first one. We looked at video conferencing tools. The second one we did was then we moved on to saying, well, okay, well, if you've looked at video conferencing tools and you've looked at how people can talk to one another and see each other and communicate, how do you keep track of teams working together even though they're not physically together? So the idea is we basically had a look at a concept called Kanban boards. And this then led us on to looking at a particular tool called Trello. And again, we've put videos here, so if you want to know what Trello is, you can watch this little video here. But essentially what Trello allows people to do is keep track of teams all working together at different locations, and it allows people to monitor the progression of particular projects or tasks that they're doing. So the idea was, in highlighting Trello, it was a case of saying, well, you want to use this with a video conferencing tool, and it will help you project manage, keep track of what's going on, and then talk to other people and your teammates. And again, within the team, we use Trello quite a lot to keep. We've used it extensively during the lockdown period just to keep track of what's going on. So the next one we had, take a sip of water, was more about, well, how do we work collaboratively with other people on specific documents? So the idea behind this one is you might have people working at the same time on a document, or maybe one person works on a document at 10 o'clock in the morning and another person comes on at maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon and then works on a different part of that document. And so the purpose of this live stream was to focus on tools that would allow you to do that easily. And the one we kind of homed in on was Google Docs and Google Drive. The idea behind this is that because it can be used by anyone, it's free to use, and it gives people essentially a web-based version of Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint, all for free, as well as some extra features like online forms you can create with people and self-marking tests and quizzes. So we looked at Google Docs and considered how that can help teams working together. And again, not to be used in isolation. The whole purpose of this was saying, well, okay, you've got your communication tools now, you've got your video conferencing, you've got your Kanban boards with Trello, you can monitor how projects are coming along. Well, this tool here allows people to actually get work done collaboratively. And the other thing that we took pains to point out was that even if you are a confident user of Microsoft Word and Excel and PowerPoint, you can still use this because you can export the finished documents as proper Word files or Excel files or PowerPoint files. So this is just a tool to allow people to collaborate together, but the finished article could be a Word document or a spreadsheet file as you're used to using. It can be a PDF file as well. But again, this was a tool to be used at a specific moment in time, i.e. different people, different locations, all coming together to work on a particular document or piece of work. We then moved on to look at a bit more about how people can communicate effectively with others. So at this point, we kind of focused on specific tools that people could use. This one was a bit more about, it was more theoretical, if you like. So we ran through the kind of the theory about what people needed in order to use technology effectively. And we looked at say these key initiatives that really do need to be in place anytime you're implementing any kind of technology, to be honest, not just a specific one. But then what we basically ended up focusing on, we said, well, look, we've looked at Trello already. We've looked at these various communication tools. We then focused on looking at a tool called Discord. And the reason we did that was because we had this spreadsheet here which kind of identified various different tools that people could use, and we covered some of them already. But what we said was that if you didn't want to have different tools for different ways of communicating, what you could do is you could have a look at a tool called Discord. Now, for those of you who have been using Microsoft Teams for the last couple of months, if you look at Discord, you will find it's very, very, very similar. The main difference being, though, that Discord is completely free. And one of the things that Discord allowed you to, one problem that Discord solves is, and this is we found this as well, that some people were experiencing difficulties because they had more than one Microsoft login for more than one company. And so when they were trying to use things like Microsoft Teams, that was causing them issues. So the idea behind using Discord is it is platform agnostic and it's login agnostic as well. So we're not saying stop using Teams. By all means, use Teams, no problem at all. It's a great tool. But if you were finding maybe that you were having to juggle multiple logins for different Microsoft Teams installations, you might want to consider Discord as a tool for bringing multiple people across different organizations together to work collaboratively. And again, just like Teams, Discord allows you to have things like group chats, private chats. You can do audio and video calls. They're all here, file uploads, screen sharing, the lot. So it's a very, very powerful all-in-one tool. So we had a look at that. Then we moved on to training and supporting people. So the idea behind this particular live stream was saying, well, okay, we've looked at several pieces of software and we've looked at what things need to be in place, but what about if you have a team member who isn't very confident with technology? How does that work for them? Because it can be quite intimidating. Lockdown happened, all of a sudden they're working from home. They might be using things they've never done before. So we had a look at a remote support solution that would allow someone in your team to get support from you. So they would allow you to control their computer as if you were sat in front of them, wiggling their mouse and tapping on their keyboard, but it's actually you're doing it from your computer in your home. And again, there are lots of different tools that you can use for this, but the one we showcased was something called Chrome Remote Desktop. The reason for this being it's free to use, it's very, very simple to set up as well, and it allows you to provide support to people from your smartphone. You can control someone's computer from your smartphone. It's very secure. Sometimes people think, oh, hang on, that sounds a bit dodgy. It's a very secure platform, so only people who have permission can dial in and can come in and provide that remote support. But again, we use this extensively within the team. I've used this an awful lot to support my team members because again, we're all over. We've been working from home. We're all over the county, but we've also used it to support clients as well who have they get stuck on a particular piece of software. They give me a shout. I say no problem. Pop the kettle on. Give me 5 minutes. I'll remote in, have a look, and then if I can fix it, I can fix it. Or I can actually provide a demonstration to them of how to use their computer or how to use the software on their computer as well. So Chrome Remote Desktop, fantastic piece of software, and it's completely free, and it allows you to provide that support to people who perhaps are using a bit of software for the first time. They're not very familiar with it. We then moved on to other topics. So after we did kind of the first 5, we then said, okay, well, what else might businesses be interested in? What else might be helpful to them? So then we started branching out, and we considered how a small business might be able to create a mobile phone app, a smartphone app, using no programming skills are required, using a piece of software, a web-based service called Glide. And the idea behind Glide is it will allow anyone, to make something called a progressive web app. Now, a progressive web app is different from the kind of app you get from the App Store on your phone, because a progressive web app works, it's basically like a website, but when viewed on a mobile phone, it actually looks like a proper smartphone app. Now, if you've used Facebook, you've already used a progressive web app because there are 2 versions of Facebook. There's the Facebook you download from the App Store, but if you get your phone and open up your web browser and go to facebook.com, you will see a progressive web app on your phone. It's a website, but it looks and feels like a native application that you've downloaded and installed. Well, that's what Glide allows you to do. So we looked at how Glide could do that. Very simple, very powerful piece of software. All you need to use is a spreadsheet, and it's actually a Google spreadsheet. And this is one of the reasons why we also had to cover the Google Docs platform in a previous live stream, because it leads on to this. So once you're familiar with Google Docs and you're familiar with spreadsheets in Google, you can then actually start to create your own web-based mobile phone app for your customers and clients. So in this particular stream, what we did was we created an app live on the stream, and it was published and people could access it as it was being made. We've also included a whole, like links to different templates if you're seeking inspiration to make your own app. But if you are a small business thinking, I quite fancy making my own app, you can do it with this. The other thing that we tend to use this for as well is if we have clients who want to make an app that maybe Glide can't handle, maybe they want something a bit more sophisticated, what we'll do is we'll use Glide with them to produce a proof of concept, a wireframe, a working prototype, if you like, that the client can then take to a developer and go, well, look, this is kind of what I've got in mind, but it's a bit more tactile than maybe just the client trying to articulate what they want just by talking. It allows them to put something in front of that developer and go, this is what I'm aiming for. Can you help me? So yeah, again, a fantastic tool if you're a small business looking to create your own smartphone apps. We then, for the next two, moved on to kind of multimedia. Because we were doing these live streams, we thought, well, it might be the case that businesses want to kind of copy what we're doing, maybe, and start getting online and getting things out there. So we had a look, first of all, at podcasts. And basically, again, the reason we start with podcasts is because two reasons. One, podcasting, i.e. putting sound on the internet, sound only like a radio show, is much easier than video. And secondly, the tools you use to create your podcast and edit your sound can also be used when you move on to video editing as well. So we had a look at some tools that people can use to create and edit sound. So we started out by explaining what podcast was. We then introduced a tool called Audacity, fantastic free and open source audio editing tool. It's really, really nice. You don't just have to use it for podcasts. It's brilliant. If you any sound you want to edit or record, this is the tool to go for. It's great. So we looked at Audacity, and then we also looked at websites where you could download free, a copyright-free, royalty-free sound effects and music to add into your podcast if you wanted to. We then said, okay, well, we've looked at how to record sound and added sound effects. How do you actually turn it into a podcast itself? We then looked at a free service called Anchor. Really nice service. There's a web-based service. There's also a smartphone app as well. You can actually make a podcast on your smartphone for free and get it published to places like iTunes and the Google Audio podcast services. There's loads and loads of different ones. But so we looked at Anchor as well. So again, if you are a small business and you're thinking, well, I get into podcasting, might be quite nice, certainly have a look at Anchor and maybe have a look at Audacity as well for editing your footage. Okay, takes a swig of water. So the next one we looked at was getting started with video editing. Now this ran much the same as the podcast one, but again, instead of just doing audio, this one looked at video as well. So although we'd already covered Audacity for audio editing, we then had a look at, what can companies use to create videos that maybe go on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever. So we looked at a couple of really nice free video editing suites. The first one being OpenShot. And again, we walked through OpenShot. We've put tutorials on how to use it on the website as well. And something else called HitFilm Express. Now, the thing is with these two, there's no right or wrong. It's purely down to personal preference as to which one you end up using. So what we encourage people to do is have a play around with both of them and see what works best, for you. See what works. But again, we've gone through all the features there in terms of what it can do. And again, we put links back to the sound effects and music as well. Okay. The last one we looked at was creating, oh, where's it gone? Come back. We looked at creating a virtual learning environment, or some people call it a VLE. Some people call it a learning management system, but essentially what it was, this live stream was focused on how businesses can create an online training platform for their staff, or if you're a training company, for your clients. So we had a look at, two different tools. First tool we looked at, come down here, there's a lot of theory with this as well. But the first tool we basically looked at was Google Sites. Google Sites, again, if you've already been messing around with Google Docs and Google Drive, Google Sites is an extension to that. Again, it's free. It allows you to make free websites. And those websites can be anything at all, but you can use them to create a free online training platform for people to access, so they can go there, they can log in and get access to notes, sound recordings, video files, basically all of the content you might have created using the tools we've showcased in the last couple of live streams over the last couple of weeks. You could then host and have people access on the Google Sites here. And then we finished up by saying, okay, Google Sites is great, but it's not a dedicated learning platform. So then we had a look at something called Moodle. Moodle is much more sophisticated than Google Sites, much more powerful, but because of that, the learning curve is a little bit steeper. So what we said in this particular video was, if you're looking to dip your toe in the water, start off with Google Sites first, see how you go, and then if you're finding that it's not able to do what you want it to do, maybe then consider using Moodle. But the important thing to remember was that no matter what platform you use, Google Sites, Moodle, or something else, there's lots of different ones out there, there are principles of effective online learning that you need to follow, or that you should try to follow at least. And we work through all of these in this particular video to explain the different models that you could, you might want to consider implementing to have effective online learning. Again, either internally with your own staff, or if you're a training company, with your customers who are paying money to learn things from you. And that's about it, really. So it's very much a whistle-stop tour. So like I said before, the purpose of these live streams has been to showcase a number of free tools to you. We will be doing something new after this particular video goes out. So watch out for, if you follow us on Twitter or Facebook or any of our other social media platforms, you will be able to get updates in terms of what we are, what we're doing next. If you do want to follow us, then the easiest thing to do is, like I say, jump over to our website, and then at the bottom of every single page, if I just scroll down here, you will be able to find links to our Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and our blog as well. You can subscribe to us via any of those platforms, and then you'll get alerts automatically sent to you via your platform of choice. That's about it, I think. The only thing that really remains for me to say is, if you are, let's say, if you are a small business based in Shropshire, Telford and Wrekin, and you think, well, maybe, digital solutions might be able to help me, but I'm not quite sure. Like I said before, you can contact us down here if you want to. But if you go to our live page as well, what you can do on our live page is you can scroll down and you can come here to click here to request a callback. And if you click on that particular button there, a form will open up, and then you can fill that form in, and then a member of the team will contact you. Like I say, you don't have to fill the form in. It just means that if you give us information on the form, we don't have to ask you as many questions as we might if you don't fill the form in. It's entirely up to you though. Okay. Well, that's about it really. The live streams have been fun for us. We hope you have enjoyed them as much as we have enjoyed making them. And we will be pushing out something brand new your way very soon. But like I say, in the meantime, thank you ever so much for watching. And we hope to be speaking to you very soon. Bye-bye.